So we've got our platform. Now we need to export it. Now, the first thing is I'm going to save this. So save as. Let's take it as platform. Okay, maybe platform 1. Now that is not something we can use. This is the unique format that Inkscape tends to use. Interestingly enough, we could open platform in a word editor and it would describe how it's being built. But that's no good for us. We need it in a bitmap form. We need it in a form that can be used by things like Scratch. So we need to export it. So to export it, the first thing I'm going to do is I just want to export just my platform, not the whole of page. So I'm going to highlight just the objects I want to export. These two, and I'm going to use the export. Now you probably don't see this window just yet, so if you go File, Export Pung Image, and at that point it will open up this window on the right hand side. Okay. Automatically, because I had that selected, it's gone to Export Selection. That's perfect. Underneath here now, it's going to ask, where do I want to export it? Well, you need to export it to the mapped My Documents, the N drive, but we need to give it a name. So now, I'm not actually access to the N drive, so mine is just going to be slightly different, but yours should say N drive. And you do that by clicking on Export As and go Documents. Yeah. So now, it's calling itself something weird. Is that lot there is absolutely great and it'll be saving into the right place, but on the end part here I have it saying rectangle. That's not what I want. So I'm going to change that last part of the word there to platform. There we go. You can also go Export As and type in the word platform here. Now you notice it gives you the option to save it as a PNG, Portable Network Graphic, and that's exactly what you want to save this. So I've got it in my documents with the right name, save. And I hit save and you think, great, it's saved. No, it isn't. All you've done there is you save that setting, not the actual thing. You haven't exported. What you need to then do is click that button there. In fact, it's saying, proving that I've already got one there, replace. There you go. If you're not sure, hit it twice. And when you get this, are you sure it already exists? You know you've done a good job and it's there. So it is now exported as a PNG, which can be imported into your Scratch or whatever. And you can keep working. So next, flowers. Right, flowers are an interesting one. For a flower pattern, ideally what I'm looking at is I want something, I'm going to go, say a central object there with some petals. I'm using the flower because it's a nice example of how to do something. So if I was drawing one cartoon-like, very nice. Then from that you have a bit of green going off from the back, and I'm just going to have 2 leaves. There we go. A very simple flower. I think it's a nice one to make because you come across them quite often, and then obviously you would have things, filtered and so forth. Right. Okay. Now, first things first. So we've got 3 colours, and I'm keeping it to simple colours here to make a flower object. Ignoring that line down there at the middle, what I want to do is make it as simple as I possibly can. So I'm going to use circles. I'm going to use a central yellow circle, then I'm going to use a red circle which I'm then going to copy and rotate around. Now the leaf is actually, I'm going to try and make it out of 2 nodes. So I'm going to simplify the thing down to 2 nodes. And this line here, that's an interesting one, is I'm going to do that as a single line. Right, this is how we make this. Okay. Oops. Platform. Right, I can use the same area if I like. Okay, first things first. If I draw my green dot there, I'm now going to draw another circle. This circle I make red. I'm going to elongate it to make a petal. If I go to that area, I can shrink it. move it round. There it is. Now it's in front of. That's not a problem. We can change that later. If I use with the select arrow and I click again on that circle, I get the rotation. You see that little rotation. So it's click twice. Click again. It goes back to scale. Rotate. Now that little, you can see a little cross in the middle there. I'm going to take that. I'm going to move it. Oops. Sorry, I did that wrong. I'm going to move that cross to the middle of my flower there. There we go. Once that's done, if I leave it on rotate, I'm going to copy. Now for copy, I'm going to use Control and C and then paste. I'm going to move, oops, back to the selection. I'm going to move that back to where it was. Clicking it again, and that circle is there. And when I rotate around, you notice how it's rotating around there. Neat, huh? Okay, highlight those two. Control C, Control V. Place them in the same place and rotate them around, and Control C, Control V. Move in the same place and rotate around and rotate around. Finally, click on that center with the black arrow and bring to front. Nice and easy, little flower. Okay. One thing, by highlighting, I'm holding the Shift key and clicking on more than one, then double clicking, and I get that. So I'm going to redo this, and then you can do this. Okay, so here we go. So you can all make a circle. By the way, if your circle ends up looking like that, don't panic. It's because just check that it starts at 0 and ends at 0. Yeah, that will simply reset it. So I've made my center circle. I now draw another circle, and then I select the color. Don't worry about it. Once I've done that, I move it roughly into position. I want it petal shaped. Okay. I now click a second time. I've got that. I click and hold and move that to the middle. And I'm now ready. If I do Control C, Control V, move it back to the middle, and then drag like that. I'm going to use the Shift key now and click there. Control C, Control V, move, and then with my mouse on there, drag around. Shift key again, tap, tap, Control C, Control V, move back, and then move up there and around. In fact, I need about a quarter. I need 1, 2, 3, I think. Control C, Control V, move it back, and then one more click, move around. In fact, I didn't need quite all of those, but there you go, that'll do. Last thing I do, click on the center, move to front. Right, I want you all to do that bit now. So where you go is you got two things in this video. You need to export the platform and then make your first flower. Give that a try. Away you go.